much for coming in. What do you make of what his state of mind could have been when you hear those comments?
Well, I think we're in a situation where we're still finding out details about this man, and I think yesterday there was a lot of coverage that suggested that we should kind of screen out people who are experiencing depression, and 10% of the population experience depression. There's clearly more than just depression going on here, so I think we should kind of not rush to judgment too much until the full facts.
The fact that he was talking about some sort of crash and maybe dreaming about it as well, what would that indicate?
I think it's, again, too early to say. We don't know whether he was feeling that he was going to be in a plane crash caused by, for some other reason. The girlfriend doesn't seem to say that he was intended to cause the plane crash. We also don't know what he was talking, if he was talking with mental health professionals, and if so, what he was saying to them. So I think it is a bit early to reach conclusions about that.
I don't think we're going for conclusions. We're going for more of an overview of what would be happening to someone maybe under those sorts of pressures, who'd obviously been to see a doctor, torn up a sick note, still gone to work. I mean, a lot of pressure.
Well, yes, and I think one of the most important things to come out is that this man was trying to conceal the fact that he was experiencing problems, and actually one of the things we know from trying to reduce risk is the best form of risk management is to encourage openness and not to encourage concealment. And if we go down the path of trying to screen out people who've got very, very common mental health problems, then all that's going to do is mean that people are more likely to conceal things and not talk about things that are distressing them, which seems to be the case in this horrible, shocking tragedy.
In these types of jobs, though, I'm assuming companies constantly monitor their staff, and staff, if they're feeling something, can go to the company and say, I need some help.
One would have thought so. I mean, certainly responsible employers, will provide workplace counselling or access to help. We really don't know, the extent to which this man was receiving help. I mean, he's clearly had been to see the hospital, and they said he was there for diagnosis and not for treatment for depression. So I think they've passed on the notes to the prosecutors. We'll hopefully find out more. But I suppose my concern is the danger that we rush to judgment to say all people with depression are a risk. I mean, also this man suffered a breakup of a relationship. He's a man. Those three factors are very common in so-called murder-suicides, but murder-suicide is an extremely rare thing. That generally happens where people kill their children and themselves, or those spree killings in the US. But one of the key issues that comes out is the availability of the means to do those things. So pragmatically, by far the best risk management to me will be to ensure there's always two crew on the flight deck, so that regardless of the reason why somebody might want to crash a plane, they're less able to do that.
The point that we've been hearing from a lot of people is he was quiet, he was friendly, he was known to his local gliding club, he had a social life. So it seemed on the surface he was operating well, but there's obviously been a problem underneath.
Well, I think one of the things that happens with these very shocking tragedies is everybody tries to go back and work out, was there some kind of a thing that everybody missed, and a quarter of the population are experiencing mental health problems. All of us look reasonably normal, that unless there was something very, very obvious, it probably wouldn't stand out to people. And obviously his girlfriend, who knew him well, is now going back and thinking over their past relationship and were there indicators that might have warned things. Well, it doesn't seem to me at the moment that we know he made any kind of express wish to crash a plane that people could have warned the airline about. And maybe that will come out, in which case then obviously the airline needs to review its procedures. But the key thing, I think, is to encourage people to be more open about mental health problems. I mean, pilot flying, it's a predominantly still a male industry. We know that in male kind of workplace cultures, there's a tendency to not talk about problems. In fact, most of the suicides in the UK are by men who fail to talk to those close to them and let them know about their depression. What we need to do is encourage more disclosure so that people, including employers and health professionals, can intervene to reduce the risk.
Okay, Dr. David Harper, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Nigeria.